Have I asked you a question?
Yeah, of
I
course.
mean, you're just like talking about women for Trump.
Yeah.
Do you think he's sexist?
No.
Dean
No.
coming in hot. Go ahead.
I mean, it's just like a real question. Because like when I like from my perspective, when I think of Donald Trump, I think of someone that is like very sexist. Like for instance, like in 1992, he like said that he'd be dating a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He was sexualizing a little girl. He's also like boasted about grabbing women like by the vagina without consent, without asking them first.
Yeah.
He said that he'd date his daughter if he wasn't his daughter. He went on Howard Stern's show on Sirius XM, and he was like boasting about walking into the changing rooms of half naked teenage girls because he owned the place and he wanted to inspect it. Then, of course, he was even held civilly liable for sexually abusing a woman. Like in preponderance of these facts, I guess my question for you would be like, how do you at the end of the day still say that Donald Trump is for women's rights? I think that something you brought up earlier is that you actually think that Trump is better for women's rights than Kamala Harris.
Yeah, and when I'm talking about women's rights, it's very like, well, first of all, the number one most important thing for me and all the women that I talk to daily is our safety. So, obviously right now we have a very corrupt district attorney, and twice in a week I had women that are mothers in very expensive neighborhoods, and this is something very close to my heart, pushing strollers, getting physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, punched in the face, and almost having their babies lives in danger. So, yeah, that's a huge thing. These are Democrat district attorneys. They do not prosecute crime. We have illegals coming over. I mean, every day. The amount of news I take in is very unhealthy. It makes me very depressed. Every day I have to see stories about young girls and women and a lot by illegal immigrants.
So, a bit talking about
Sorry, as the moderator, Dean, I'm going to cut you off real quick. We have a lot to get to. So I just want to really quick go back to your point. You brought up 1992, right?
Mhm.
Those are, and nothing is defending, but those are different times, right? We don't go back and you're in a situation, we will say, where you go back
Yeah.
and people have said things or done things in the past that they regret, or maybe they did, at the time it was different to say certain things or taken out of context, stuff like that. So I think that is something to take into account.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
92? I wasn't even born.
Well, my take is, yeah, like for instance, like recently, a lot of things have been posted all over the internet about how like when I was younger, like I would say slurs, right? And
Mm.
I'm happy that you brought that up because I think it kind of serves to show like why these points are important.
But you're not racist, right?
No, I'd say that
Okay, there you go.
I'm not currently exhibiting racism.
Oh.
And the reason that I wanted to bring this up was because I recognize that like when I was 14, like saying the N word, that was like really bad. I also recognize that we should not take that lightly because as soon as we start taking even like 14, 15, 16-year-olds saying slurs lightly, that kind of makes it socially acceptable for kids to slur because oh well they're kids. But like what I've done is I have not only like had character progression, I've changed as a person and apologized for those things, but then I actively advocate against them. And I'd say that's the big difference between like someone like me that has done bad things, like been racist and said slurs in their past, and Donald Trump with these related issues from 1992 and the early 2000s is he hasn't. And then I also would say that, there is a difference between, saying slurs due to racist socialization, learning, changing, becoming a better person and growing, and like, sexually abusing a woman like Donald
Yeah.
Trump did to E. Jean Carroll.